disclaimer alert, if you attempt this, please test your lead. Slight disclaimer, it's not kind of my fault if something goes wrong. If you attempt this, it's kind of your own responsibility. So I just wanted to say that it's nothing to do with me. So here we go. Right, this is the supplied cable with an EQ6 or the Altaz EQ6 mount. It's a car power socket to an Aviation socket. And what we're going to do is we're going to not use this lead. I have here a new power supply. It's a mains power supply, and it is a 12 volt 5 amp capable power supply. So it's perfectly good for running an EQ6. And I'm going to chop off this connector and solder on a new connector here, which is the Aviation style connector. So this is how we're going to do it. First of all, I'm literally just going to snip this off. Here we go. Great. Now this is the Aviation style connector, and you just unscrew it, and you can see it's got 2 pins in there, which are great. And I've also got the Skywatcher instructions, which conveniently gives you the pin out for how you wire it, which is great. The only thing it doesn't tell you if that is a socket or if that's a connector. So I'm going to have to use a multimeter just to test if that's the socket or the connector. So first of all, I'm just going to I should use some proper wire strippers, but I'm pretty good with scissors, so I'm just doing some wire stripping. I'm fairly sure that red is positive on this and white is negative. So there we go, we've got our cables there, and then the first thing we need to do is take our connector and we just gently unscrew the retaining screws. You don't have to do them all the way, it's just enough to push your cable through. There we go, so that's on like that. Now I'm just going to do what's called tinning, where you get your solder, to rest it on my Swiss Army knife there, and you just tin the ends. My soldering iron is on and it's hot. I'm going to turn on the extractor. You don't want to be breathing in solder fumes, that's nasty stuff. And we just tin the end of the iron like that, and then we just put it on the copper. That's it, just a tiny little blob and tiny blob. That's now tinned, so that's good. Put weight on that. Okay, just going to turn off our extractor. So those are now tinned perfectly. So what we have to do now is identify which is the positive and which is the negative on that, and whether that's the socket or the connector. So here we go, let's get the old lead and the multimeter. Okay, so what I need to do is identify which of these pins is positive and which is negative. So I'm just going to put some power into this. So I've now got power to my power supply, and I'm just going to measure the voltage across. Okay, so I've orientated it the same as the picture there, and it turns out that the top one is negative here, but it's showing positive there, so that is the connector, which is good. So I now need to wire it that way round. So I'm going to just kill the power for this. So pin 1 should be negative. So I have now soldered it so that pin 1 on the connector is negative and pin 2 on the connector is positive, and that should be the correct way round. So now all I'm going to do is screw this together and give it a test. There we go. And I'm now going to buzz it through with my multimeter again just to make sure that it is all correct. So I'm going to plug it in. Okay, that's good. It's going the right way around. Excellent. And then I'll just check, to double check that I've got it right with this one. Perfect. They're absolutely identical. And one last check before I actually put it on the mount. Perfect. There we go. So I've now got a 12 volt, 5 amp power supply with an Aviation style connector on, which works with an EQ6.